all so much for joining me today. Shout out to my UK subscribers. This is for you because the only way I would do a live this early in the afternoon for me is for you guys because it is hella hot. So I want to let you guys know, moving forward, because we are officially in LA summer, moving forward until these temperatures drop, guys, I'm doing evening lives. It is too hot. And I'm like, I don't even know what my electric bill is going to look like because my air is on full blast. It is too hot. LA summer is bad, girl. It's like, LA summer is like Vegas in July. Skin peeling hot. But I know that this is like a show specifically for you guys. And so I was just like, let me just get up and do it. I moved it to at least 2 hours later just because at noon, it would have been insane. At noon, it would have been insane. So 2 p.m. is a nice little soft spot, a good little compromise because, baby, LA summer is not a joke. That's why you never hear me complaining about the fall. Well, because I'm also a winter baby, and I love fall and the Christmas season. But I never complain about it being chilly or cozy or the cozy season weather in LA because I know what we're going to get in August. It's some transplants. Oh, wait, I'm a transplant. Oh my God, am I a native? Am I an LA native? Oh my God, did you hear me? Did you hear me? It's some transplants. Girl, you too. I gotta take a trip to Philly. What was that? Anyway, what I meant to say is that it's people who are new to LA who think like that and who want it to be a lot hotter than it normally is because the weather we normally get for the summertime is not the same for like the East Coast. The East Coast just gets hot immediately, right? LA, it takes a minute. And then that August hits and we're like, yikes, it's bad. I don't even leave my house till after the sun sets. It's bad, y'all. And I want to do my fall shopping, but I am not doing my fall shopping in this heat. Anyway, let's wrap up Love is Blind UK because we got the reunion on Sunday and I saw the reunion trailer. It doesn't look very good. Like, I'm not saying it looks bad, but it seems like some stuff has gone down. I hate to say it. It looks messy, so it's probably going to be very interesting. I do hope that all of the couples that got married are still together because I like those couples. Those were the couples that I actually like. So I'm hoping that they're still together, especially Sarover and Kyle, because I really, really, really that now Sarover and Kyle, right? That's my top couple. They had their issues, but I'm always rooting for the woman. But that's my top couple. I hope they're in a good place. I had to stop reading the comments on the YouTube trailer in a YouTube comment section. I had to stop reading the comments for that trailer because people were being very negative about my favorite couple. Somebody said Sarover is insufferable. I was like, oh. You must be the Queen of England because how the hell is she insufferable? What did she even do? She was such a sweetie. Weird. Anyway, ciao. You know what? These nails are getting done today. My nails are getting done today. This is the thing when you have natural hair, you have to keep, natural hair is expensive because you have to keep your nails done. The way my nails were getting caught in my hair today, madness. Anyway, guys, let's get into it. So, Love is Blind. You can. Oh, I review too many shows with love in it. I'm just like all over the place. I was about to say, Love Island UK. So Barta and Jed. We're just going to go through couples and then we'll get through like group things. Barta and Jed. So Barta and Jed, immediately started having problems, like as soon as episode 5 started, right? And I knew that it was going to be that way because we always see the couples in the beginning. We always see them being like so in love, and it's, everybody's just having a really good time, and they're moving in together. White Jesse Williams and his wife, he comes and they all come when the couples meet up, and he lets the couples know that they are going into the next phase, which is moving in together. And Barta and Jed start out so great, right? Then immediately it gets weird. And why it starts to get weird is because Barta, and this is the thing, she's so independent. I don't know how she fell for such a dominant man. So her and Jed are having issues because of how Jed is dominant considering his culture. Like, it's like in his culture to be like this dominant alpha male type of guy. That's not necessarily what she's attracted to. She's allowing herself to be led by him and to be in a relationship with him. She doesn't necessarily enjoy it. Here is why. She doesn't necessarily come from a culture where women have to do this, but she comes from a class where the women in her family had to work. The women in her family had to hold it down just like the men. So she's not looking for a guy to come in and save her because she knows that she doesn't need saving. And that's the kind of woman that Jed needs. But he fell in love with Barta, and Barta fell in love with a guy like Jed. So they're at this crossroads right now where they're seeing who the person really is. And I feel like they were trying to push through for the experiment. I think that's what Barta was trying to do. She was trying to push through for the experiment. And I also think that she was trying to push through because of her mother's sickness. Her mother's a cancer survivor. And when they were trying on wedding dresses, she was crying because she was just like, she never thought that her mother would see her in this dress. And I think that also fueled her staying in this relationship a lot longer than I think that she probably would have. But I think Jed would have went through with the relationship, the wedding and all of that, because his culture. I think within his culture, he is accustomed to bulldozing women, right? Because he says, "Oh, I'm the man. I like to lead." It's bulldozing. It's bulldozing women. It's making sure that women don't have a voice. It's making sure that women do not lead. And I'm not attacking his culture. I'm attacking the patriarchy that is attached to his culture. So to get a woman like Barta, if she's not within that culture that he comes from, or the culture that he was raised in within his home, she doesn't understand those things. So what men normally have to do when they get women outside of their norm, their cultural norm, they have to start chastising them. And I think that's what's happening with Barta and Jed. Jed is chastising her to bend and break and mold her into a woman that he can culturally accept. And this is why, listen, love is love, but it's just best to date within your culture. Because this is going to happen all the time. Barta is just like, okay, I get everything that you're saying, but I am never going to be in a position where I can't take care of myself. That's not what I've seen. That's not what I've grown up in. And that is just not the life that I want. And so that is why her and Jed are bumping heads. Culture. Very interesting, child. Very, 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 very interesting. But I am glad that Barta was like looking at certain signs and being like, yeah, I got an issue with that. Yeah, I got an issue with that. Also, Barta's community, like the women that she is around do not play. When Jed met her best friend Olivia. Oh, Olivia, what, is that her name? Hold on. I want to make sure I got her name right. Jed meets Olivia. Olivia was strict. She was not playing no games. She was like, "You happy? You said that before. What's different about this?" Like, she wasn't smiling at Jed or nothing. Jed was doing like his best to, like, he was putting his best foot forward, but Olivia was looking at him like this the whole time. How you gonna take care of her? You know she takes care of herself. You sure you got that? You sure you can deal with that? She's not gonna wait around for you. Are you gonna be able to keep up with like she was so strict to the point where I was just like, oh, Olivia, your friend likes this guy, but Olivia knows Barta, right? And she knows what is good for her friend because they've been together for a very long time and she has seen her at her best and at her worst. So I think Olivia was just being honest. And I just think that she, like Barta, is just someone who just does not play. She was so strict and not playing with Jed at all. Jed was like smiling, trying to make her laugh. Olivia had yet to crack a smile. She is very strict. So I knew Jed was dead in the water. I was like, if this is Barta's counsel, Jed is a wrap. Jed, it is a wrap. But like I said before, I'm glad that she saw the signs. I'm glad that she was aware of some things. I'm glad that she questioned a lot of things because, in my opinion, her questioning everything kept her out of slavery. She would have been enslaved in that relationship with that man because that is how he is used to seeing women as property. A woman like Barta is very foreign to him. He could not understand her. He could not understand how she couldn't get it because they're just two very different people. Not even culturally. I think it's just also through her experience and her seeing the women in her community have to do it all. She's not enamored by this male dominant alpha male thing because she can do it too. So your approach to her has to be different. So I think her being very aware, very woke, kept her out of a lifetime or a life sentence of slavery. So good for her. So the cast, they all meet up with each other. Like I said before, they all meet up with Jesse Williams and his wife, and they, let them know that everybody is moving in together. Like I said, everybody is in their, cupcakes and rainbows phase. Everybody is really, really loving it and enjoying it. Where is he at? Let me tell you something. You better get you a friend like Kyle. Every time Kyle sees Katisha, he lets her know you did my friend dirty. Get you a friend like Kyle who will fight for you even when you not in the room. To the point where Katisha was just like, okay, the decision was made. Can we move on? He's always just like, my boy Demola. Like, it's kind of confusing how you did that to him. Like, he would not let up. I said, I hope Demola sees this. And I want to see what he's going to say about Kyle at the reunion. Because Kyle was fighting for him. Were they friends before this? Because for them to have become friends during this process, and this man is fighting for him like that, my God, today. I'm surprised that was Demola there? I'm surprised he wasn't in the wedding. My God, today. Listen, I did not like that Katisha did not pick Demola. I realized she made the best decision for herself. But anyway, and we'll get into that later. I did not like that she didn't pick him. And I was like, oh my goodness, Katisha, girl, that's not fair. And then I moved on. Kyle, it's time to move on, baby. Speaking of Katisha, Mamacita. That man, it was just very evident that Javin had no intent. You know what? No, it wasn't. I will say it was very evident that he was never going to be good to her, but it was not evident that he was not going to marry her. It was not evident. I think he would have done it. Because there are so many men like Javin out there who it's just the right time. It's not that they like that woman. It's not that she's their dream girl. It's not that this is who they want to be with. It's just that, oh, it's time for me to get married. I'll marry the first person I see. He probably would have said yes. So many men are married to women they do not like, damn near hate, and are jealous and envious of, or in relationships with them. Shout out to Shelly and Ace. My God, today we'll get into that on another live. I wanted to bring up Katisha because I wanted to talk about this, and I keep on trying to get this conversation out there to women because I'm just like, I need you all to wake up. Katisha is a representation of what the real reality of the preference, right? Because I hate to say it, but it is the truth. And I hope you hear me so you can break out of this mindset and live a better life. You are not the preference because you're better than other women. You are the preference because you are a willing slave. Point blank, period. Point blank, period. That is why those of you who have this mindset that you are a better woman because you're mixed race, or you're lighter skinned, or you have a straighter hair texture, or you're slimmer, or you come from this class, or you have all these degrees, it does not matter. You are fighting for the same men, right? And what men like that who tell you you're the preference and go after you because you're the preference, what they are trying to see, there's always a test with them. What they are trying to see is how dumb you are and how detached you are from your sisterhood, from your community of women, because they know that they cannot conquer you unless you are fully isolated. So if you are someone like Katisha who has friends like a Megan, like those men will absolutely go after you. But if they can't isolate you and remove Megan out of your life, they're going to leave you alone. Why? Because you have a strong sisterhood, and that sisterhood has wisdom, discernment, insight. That sisterhood is woke and will look out for you and will see that wolf in sheep's clothing, even if you cannot see it. But those of you who do not have Megans, right? Those of you who do not have women like that who can see things from afar and who will give you the discernment that you currently do not have, you will always get picked by a Javin, and you will never see, or is it Javin? Because she was calling him Javin. You will always get picked by a guy like that. And how they will test you is they will make very misogynistic comments, right? They'll make misogynistic comments. They'll make colorist comments. They will make featurist comments, and they want to see how you react. Now, you might not agree with it. You might not like it. But if you don't react, or you forcibly agree because you want his affection, that's how he knows that he has you. And so that's why women like Katisha, and I don't think that she thinks like this, but she is somebody who is absolutely used to being lusted after by men like Javin, because she even said that there was more of a sexual attraction with them. Why? Because all she talked about with that man was sex. That's it. And she could not recognize that the man that didn't talk to her about sex was more interested in her, whatever she was, and just her in her fullness, right? The man that she eventually chose was a man that was familiar to her, because those are the kind of men, not that she's attracting, but are attracted to her based on how she looks, not because she is better. It is because they believe, because of how she looks, that she is conquerable. And that is why if you have this look, you are going to constantly have to keep your head on swivel. It is very, very, very wise for you to start asking them cultural conversations early, because that demon is not smart, and they will reveal themselves, and you will save yourself from a life sentence of enslavement. She didn't have that conversation with that man. And anything that she heard that would have been or should have been a red flag, she overlooked it because that is the kind of man that she is used to being with. And look at her on this show, because it never works out with those guys. It never works out with those guys because they don't have good intentions. They're not good people. A colorless black man is not a good person. And again, I'm not saying that Javin is colorless or anything like that. I'm just giving like an example. A misogynistic man is not a good man to be with. A whorish man, it's not a good man to be with. You'll joke it up like, oh my God, he's such a flirt. He's a whore. He's a whore. Get away from him. He's a whore that doesn't respect you. Get away from him. He's a whore that will put your life in danger. Get away from him. He's a whore that will build multiple fatherless homes, and you will be one of them. Get away from him. But she is a clear example. She is a clear example of why being called the preference should be a slur. Because it is a violent attack on your humanity, and they are putting a target on you to be attracted to or in relationships with, or the target of the worst kind of men. Listen to how he speaks early on. And if he ain't saying nothing, start asking him them cultural conversations. You'll find it real quick, because that demon ain't dumb. It's persistent and it's consistent. That demon is dumb. It's persistent and consistent, but it is not smart. Just a quick note. And the sad thing about it is, everybody on the show, including the men, are trying to protect her. And how I know that the men on the show have told their women how awful Javin is because the girls, remember, in the pods, they were so excited for her. Oh, you found somebody. Oh, you found somebody. As soon as everybody got out the pods and started pillow talking, all the women got out the pods and started pillow talking with their men. The men, because all men are the biggest gossips. The men they'll gossip about everybody. Their boys, the Lord, their mama. Tell all your mama business. They won't tell their business though. They won't tell their business, but they are huge gossips. So for all of the women to be excited for her that she's getting picked as well, and she got engaged, and she's gonna be along in this process, to them all switching up as soon as everybody gets back together and be like, are you sure about him? Do you feel okay? Do you maybe have any apprehension? Why are they saying that? Because they've been pillow talking with their men who told them who Javin is. And they probably said, don't say anything, because that's my boy. I don't want him to be mad at me. But the women gonna tell everybody. They might not directly say, well, my man told me this, but they're going to start asking some questions. Have you checked his phone? Yeah. He's a terrible guy. I won't say terrible guy because I don't know him. He would have been a terrible partner for her. And everybody on that show knew that, and they were trying to protect her. But she just couldn't hear it. She just couldn't see it for some reason. But she redeems herself. We'll get into it. She redeems herself. So now everybody moves in with each other. And I will say, I was literally concerned for all the couples except for Barta and Jed. Because Barta and Jed, yes, it was, rainbows and popsicles. But Barta started asking some questions. I felt like they were moving at a more realistic pace. The other couples were just, oh, everything is so great. Like Megan and Karen, love them. All they did was laugh. Have you had a conversation about finances? Who's staying home with the kids? Like, y'all gotta talk. Are y'all going to whose place are y'all living into? Where, how are y'all splitting the bills? Or is Karen taking care of everything? What's going on? How many kids y'all want? What schools they going to? Whose insurance are they going to be? Oh, you don't have those conversations. You don't have them insurance conversations. Lucky bastards. But I'm just like, there are like, what religion? Are we going to raise them under a religion? Who got molesters in their bloodline? Y'all got to ask those questions. Who got an uncle we can't keep the kids around? I was going to say crack, but y'all white. So who does meth? Y'all, you know what I mean? Like, you have to, who got an uncle on meth? Like, you have to have those conversations. And all they did was laugh. Maybe they had them and it was edited out. But like every time we see Megan and Karen, they're talk. I'm concerned. Happy for them, but I am concerned. Billy meets Ashley's dad. Where is she at? Billy meets Ashley's dad, and that man looks just like Billy. No shade. When I saw her dad's hair, it was giving me Rolling Stone. All I'm going to say is, I don't know if Ashley and Billy are still together. If you guys are together, before y'all try to conceive, please do a DNA test. Y'all look exactly alike. If somebody will Photoshop a buzz cut with a bang, because the white British boys, they love, or not the British boys, not the white ones, just the British boys, the ones that got straight hair, they love like a box cut with a bang. What is the bang? What is that? Are y'all attracted to that over there? Kyle got it too. It's like, are they pressing that bang every morning? It's a thing. Is that their version of a low cut Caesar with no deep wave? They love that bang. Anyway, they look alike, very much alike. And I'm telling you, if you give her a low cut with a bang, she's going to look just like him. The father, that's Billy's son. That's Billy's daddy. Y'all got to do a DNA test. And there's no shame. There's no shame in it. I have Rolling Stones in my family. That's why I don't date nobody in Philly. It's too many people. My family is huge. Absolutely not. I would not even in the tri-state area. Not even if you want to date me, you gotta be from the South or New York City. I can't. But I feel like y'all probably should get a DNA test. Y'all probably should do that just in case, because he looks just like your father. I was like, oh. Netflix, follow the story. Follow the story. I will say it was a little weird. And it's not just her. A lot of these couples did not tell their parents that they were going on this show. And I'm like, what is this? Is this like a British culture thing? Because I could not have disappeared for weeks and not told my mama what I was doing. How were y'all able to do that? Even if I had to sign a contract that nobody could know, I was going to have to tell my mama. Y'all disappeared for like 6 weeks and nobody asked questions? Because she's like, oh, my father doesn't know about Billy. And the dad was like, oh, a fiance? I thought I was coming to meet your boyfriend. What is going on? And I'm like, how were you able to do that? Insane. But her father meets Billy, his son, for the first time. And he's a little taken aback because he's just like, I thought it was going to be a boyfriend. Now it's a fiance. And he took in a lot of the information. And then he gave Ashley and Billy his blessing. And his children are getting married. Jesus. Ashley also met Billy's mom and sister, who were very, happy about her being the one that their son is going to be with. Because rarely is the woman the problem. Rarely is it like, oh, she's not good enough for my son. It's more like, oh my God, thank you for getting him out of our life. A lot of y'all do not realize that y'all are saving these families from being responsible for these men anymore. You are an overnight camp for their problem. Anyway, so they were happy about the whole about him meeting her or whatever. I will say it was a little concerning with Billy at this process now, at this point in the process, saying that he doesn't know if he's going to want to marry Ashley. And he's telling his sister that. And that's the thing that bothers me about this. And I think that women on the show should speak up about it more because, or maybe y'all need to set boundaries where y'all are not having sex with these men until you know their answer. Like y'all have to say something because she's living in this bliss thinking that this man is just at right where she's at, but he's not expressing these things to her. And they're like living together, cohabitating together, sleeping together, and you're not telling her. I don't care if it's a show. Marriage is a really big deal. So I just felt bad watching these episodes and just watching her and how happy she is about this process while Billy is dying inside and telling family members and friends, whoever the hell will listen, that he doesn't know if he's going to say yes. And that he's scared, which is normal. That makes sense, right? Because your life is going to change with this person. You need to tell the person that you are going to or considering making your life partner that you feel this way. It just looked deceptive, Billy. It just looked deceptive. Sarover meets Kyle's mama and his brother. I will say this. Where my girl at? There she go. I will say, oh, you know what? Let me bring up Kyle. Maybe get your baddie Shane. But when I saw Kyle and his brother, I was just like, oh, y'all look like y'all daddy. Y'all look like y'all daddy. They don't look nothing like that mama. I think they may have gotten her jawline, but they look like that daddy. I don't even know what the dad looked like, but I know he looked like Kyle and his brother. It's the same person. Just one got faster metabolism or one is on roids. Same person. But the family loves her over because how could you? How could you not love her? She's a sweetie. It was like this really big build up with Sarova and her mother. And she's like, her mom is texting her and she's not sure about it. So I felt like the mom was not going to be okay with their relationship. So when Cal sits down with Sarova's mother and her sister, first of all, that family is stunning. Sarova's mother? I said, that's your mom? When did she have you? Oh, she looks amazing. Her and her sister, gorgeous. Anyway, Kyle is stuttering. He's nervous. The beginning of the meeting is very it's just bad. Kyle was doing terrible. He was not impressing them. Then he was able to turn it around. And the mom's like, oh, he really loves you. It's so sweet. I give you my blessing. And Kyle was just like, you had me nervous. I thought that, she was going to say no, and that this process was not going to happen. And I'm like, me too. The way she was talking about her mom, I was like, you know what, Sarova? I'm looking at you right here in this picture. You did not look like this on the show. It's your makeup, mama. This is a good makeup look on you. And you need to take notes from your little sister. The makeup that you put on ages you. Take some notes from your little sister or whoever did the makeup for you on this show. Because this is how you should look. You looked very different on the show. Anyway, she just had us really nervous. And I don't know why. Because her mom was like, so happy and like accepting of it. I don't know what them text messages said. Maybe that's why she acted that way. But I thought that those two were not going to finish the process because of the way she was talking about her mom. But her mom was like, it's okay. Go. I love it. You have my blessing. And I'm like, oh, well, that was easy. And where was the daddy? Sarova, I need to know about the family dynamic. Because why wasn't your dad there? It was all about your mom, but it was never about your dad. Okay. So Damola and Katisha, they sit down and they meet. And I felt bad for Damola because he was rejected. Nobody ever likes to be rejected. And then you're gonna reject it on reality TV. Like the world is watching you be rejected on a really popular show. So he felt bad, he spoke his piece. He said that he felt blindsided, and he was. Because she was like, well, you actually were. He was. And while he was feeling bad about himself, he was also like trying to big himself up and like trying to like, I felt like he was trying to make Katisha feel like she made a bad decision because he knows. I'm sorry, my it's always right around here. My makeup just bothers me for some reason. Um, it was like he was kind of trying to let her know that she made the wrong choice. And I honestly wish that he would not have done that because I started to see him in a different light. And I actually like him. He was my Shayla at first. He's not my Shayla no more because I started to see him in a different light. And I'm just like, you moving weird. You moving like a man and I don't like it. You moving like a man and I do not like it. Katisha explained to Demola's her side. And he's still a bit sore, but of course he is. Of course he is. He wanted her. So he wanted her before he even knew what she looked like. And then he sees that he got this fine, Amazon that said no to him. Yeah, of course he would feel some sort of way. Barta meets Jed's parents. Where she is? She meets Jed's parents, who are like really, really nice. The parents gave them both a reality check about marriage and how hard it is. And I honestly have to disagree. I think that women who get married really early in life say that marriage is hard. I don't see older women saying that. I see older women who got married later in life, and later in life being like 30s, guys. I see them being like, well, marriage is work, and the work being is you got to constantly check in on your partner because you can get caught up in a system, and you could just get so comfortable that you're not doing what you were doing in the beginning. You get a little lazy because, the excitement is gone, the thrill is gone. You got to work to get that back. Things like that. The way these women who got married at like 19 are talking about how hard marriage is, they're talking about how hard marriage is because of how much of the work they have had to do on their own in that marriage. Those are the ones who are saying that. And I'm just like, I hear you, mama. I know you're saying that, marriage is hard and things can happen. But I feel like you're saying that because you're still doing a bit in slavery. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're still enslaved. So that's why you're saying that. I don't think the husband, your husband would say that. He would probably love it. It's a breeze for him. He got a built-in maid, hoe, babysitter, housekeeper. Like, it's a bomb for him. But I also feel like that was also a turning point for Barta because she's looking at Jed. She's dealing with him. She's sitting down with his mom who's telling him it's going to be hard. And she's already seeing the hardness that the mom is talking about. And I think she's just like, yeah, this ain't for me. This ain't for me. But lovely parents, especially the dad who seemed very, very, very wise. Katisha meets Javin's family. Why do men like this always have why are they always in women-centered families? Like when I saw, there were no men that showed up for him. I just saw his mom and sister. And I'm like, why are you a product of such beautiful Black women? Like, are they not embarrassed? His sister, stunning. Mother, stunning. And a sister, another woman telling another woman that this guy is going to be difficult. Are you ready for that? I'm telling you, I don't care how much I love a man. If I sit down with his family and they tell me how difficult he is, okay. Well, y'all can keep that difficult man. I'm going to take your word on it. I'm not going to be like, oh, I know what I see. Y'all been with him for his entire life. Y'all see something I don't see. Thank you for letting me know. Thank you for letting me know. I absolutely not. Why do I don't want to work in a relationship with, what are we talking about? I was happy before him. Why are you telling me that this guy is going to be difficult and there are going to be all these issues? Thank you for the warning. See, I'm the type of person where I will listen to the first warning. Like I was a good kid. Now I did a lot of fighting. That's because, it was a different time. I was in Philadelphia. There's no way you're getting out of Philly without fighting. But I was a good kid. Like my mom told me not to do something, I ain't do it. Like you tell me that if I do this, this will happen, I'm gonna believe you. I don't need to find out for myself. Absolutely not. But, she's just reassuring Katisha that this dude is difficult. What? Oh my God. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And then we find out he's the baby of the family. Yikes. Yeah, but it makes sense. The baby boy of a family, the baby boy of a woman-centered family, not centered, a woman-dominant family. Yikes. 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 I would not wish him on my worst woman enemy. Yeah, I wouldn't want that for her. I can't stand that heifer, but I won't want her to suffer under a man. Javin meets Katisha's family. Her mama black. I was like, oh. Well, the whole family. It's like they're all quadroons. Everybody, from the oldest to the youngest. Everybody's a quadroon. How the hell does that happen? I have never seen it in like a whole quadroon family. Oh, the Smollets. No, they're biracial. They're biracial. That's the closest thing. And they're all they've all reverted, they've all turned their bloodline black. Them Smollets, they started out biracial. That bloodline is black now. All the kids that have come out of those relationships are black. So they went right back. They turned that bloodline right back. But yeah, I've never seen an entire quadroon family. I was like, oh, wow. Wow. Anyway, not only are they all quadroons, they're all very young. I need to know more about her family. I need to know more about her family. But her mom and her dad have been together forever, and she wanted the same thing. I hope at the reunion she tells us what her mother said off camera, because I felt like her mother was not convinced with Javin. She kept on telling him to be good to her daughter. And I'm like, why do you feel the need to say that? She constantly kept on reiterating that she wants him to be good to her. Either she's heard things that Katisha has said to her about him, or she just saw that demon from a mile away. We also see later on in a few episodes later, I haven't brought him up yet. Go Billy! He looks like him too. Billy got a problem with food. Because him and Ashley were at what she called it, the food shop. Him and Ashley were at the food shop, and I guess she got too many Hershey with almonds and put them in a cart, and he cussed her out. And she was like visibly shaken. And she was just like, you were really intense at the food shop. And he was like, well, my caloric intake, Ashley. So I'm like, oh my God, was Billy a big boy? A man with an eating disorder. It happens more than it does with women. Or a problem, I won't say eating disorder, a problem with food. Yikes. Because Billy is really, really fit. So he might have, if he was a big boy before, he might be dealing with the little identity issue. Oh Lord. See, this is what they say. When they say marriage is work, this is what they mean. This is what they mean. You get cussed out. You over there shopping at Trader Joe's and your man is cussing you out because you done got some muffins. And you find out through getting the muffins that he used to be fat and he don't want to go back to that no more because he was bullied as a kid. So now you can't have your blueberry muffins. This is what they mean when they say that marriage is work. See, something like that. Maybe this is why I'm single, because I will walk away. I can't enjoy my favorite food because you got a problem with your body. I'm out. Yikes. That might be a problem. Ugh, that may be a problem. I got to be nicer to them. I'm going to discuss that with the Lord. Anyway, we are also finding out that not only is Billy telling every and anybody but Ashley, it's getting to the point now where he just sits down and he just lets Ashley know that he's scared, that he doesn't know that he can do this because he doesn't want to repeat the same mistakes from his last relationship. And I absolutely understand that. But here's the thing, Billy, if you don't want to repeat the same mistakes from your last relationship, why in the hell would you go on a show where you got to be married in like 5 weeks? It doesn't make sense. You're just giving yourself an out. You're giving yourself an excuse. Instead of just telling her the truth, I came on this show for exposure. It's a really popular show. Why not? Why not do it? Why not give myself a little attention? Big up whatever I'm doing, set me up differently, become an influencer, get all the free British tail I want. Just be honest and say that. Because if you didn't want to make the same mistakes in your last relationship, coming on a show where you have to get where the result is a speedy wedding is ridiculous. It's ridiculous and it's a cop-out. It is ridiculous and it is a cop-out. Ashley meets Billy's dad, who is so fun. His dad was so fun. That ain't his daddy. That ain't his daddy. We know who his father is, but his dad was fun. Billy expresses that he has cold feet. And the dad is just like, get married, Billy. Damn. His dad was just like over it. He was like, just do it. Come on, you have fun. Live your life. Like, it's so weird that he has such a serious son because that dad is so not serious. But he's a fun guy. I wish Billy had some of his joy. But it could be the problem with food that is holding him back. It could be that problem with food. Oh, Lord. So everybody gets together for a whole cast party. It's like the gathering that they all do before the weddings. Javin is letting everybody and their mama know that he doesn't want to marry Katisha. Oh Lord. And they finally, Javin and Katisha, they sit down and they finally discuss. He finally lets her know that he's having some insecurities because of how she handled the Demola situation. I think that was just an excuse. Javin never came on this show to get married. I don't think. But now I'm just like, did he come on the show for exposure? Because he's a former footballer, right? And even his sister mentioned that that boy has been dealing with the fall from the limelight, and it has not been good for him. He has not been able to recover from no longer being like, I don't know how much of a football star he was, but he was doing something. He has some kind of name for himself, and he hasn't fully dealt with the fact that is no more. And so that could be why he is the way he is, or it probably is. But Javin is telling everybody he is not happy with being with Katisha. He tells every woman there, and I don't know why he's doing that. We see Patrick. He shows up in his loose do-rag. What is this style? What was that style? If it was Black American influence, it was poorly executed. My God, today. But he shows up, and right after he shows up, Anu shows up, and they know that they have to talk. But Anu does not feel like it. As soon as she goes and says hi to everybody, she completely ices out Patrick, and Patrick's just like, oh, I deserve that. I deserve that. Anyway, these two finally sit down and talk, and my God, today this woman was activated. I want her on every Netflix show. She was such good TV. Dare not I say she was the best thing that happened to this season of Love Island UK. She was so fun to watch. She did not let Patrick get a word in. She told him she was sick of his spleen. And Patrick was just like, trying to pacify her. And she was just like, "You're a liar! You're a liar!" I enjoyed every second that she was on my TV. I enjoyed it. She was so activated because she realized she got played for a fool by this dude. And she was so activated. And this is how you should treat a man that wrongs you. This is how you should treat them, because she read Patrick for filth and he could not recover. And then the producers asked her what it was like seeing Patrick, and she was like, underwhelming. Underwhelming. That's my girl. I enjoyed her. I will say this. Where is she at? Javin was all over thickness. He was all over thickness. He was all over every woman. But I mean, he had a scene where she walked in and he was talking to Anu, and he was looking, and Anu just started laughing, because not only was like Javin looking, he was like looking like directly at her and like following her around the room. And Anu just had to laugh because she's just like, do you engage, right? So she laughs and he's like, "Oh, you're going to get me in trouble. Oh, you're going to get me in trouble." And I'm like, no, you're already there. You are already there. I don't think he took this process seriously at all. Then Sophie shows up, and Karen, he pulls Sophie to the side and he talks to her. All the members just like, "Oh, there's Sophie, there's Sophie." And I'm like, what are y'all doing? This is when the men got on my nerves. When they all collectively got on my nerves, when like the women that they were all talking to in the villa that they didn't, not the villa, the women that they were all talking to in the pods, when they all started walking in, the men were like, "Oh, there goes so-and-so, there goes so." It's not cute to me. I didn't think that it was cute, because at this point you are all engaged and are literally going to get married in like 2 weeks. So this whole, "Oh, look who just walked in," I didn't think that that was cute. I didn't think that it was cute that y'all was all laughing. Y'all faces were getting red. Why your face getting red for a woman that ain't your fiance? Wasn't cute to me, but they all were just into it. So all the guys are hyping them up. Sophie walks in. So Sophie walks in and she sees Karen, and the producers asked her, what was it like seeing Karen? She's like, "Yeah." She's like, "He's not my type." Sophie's type seems to be black, because she was like, "He's not my type." But Javin, did you see Javin? And I was like, engage Javin, Sophie. You're going to get dragged at the reunion. You are going to get dragged at the reunion. There's a Jezebel every season of Love Island. How embarrassing. How embarrassing. So anyway, she sits down with Karen and they have their little conversation. It's not that big of a deal, but it is a big deal to Megan, right? Because Megan told Karen how Sophie was. And was it a bit of jealousy? Probably, because she was competing with this girl. And Karen, he goes over to Megan and she asked her how the conversation went. He was like, "Oh, it went well." He said, "But I am a bit confused because Sophie is not like how you told me. So the Sophie that I talked to is the Sophie that I remembered." And Megan was just like, "Yeah, because you're a man. Like, she will interact with you different." And then she got upset, rightfully so, because she's like, "I told you what it was, and that should be enough. What you telling me you confused? How the hell are you confused? My word is my word. I told you one thing, you're telling me you see and feel another." Absolutely not. Especially when it's about a woman that you were going back and forth with between me and her. So she had every right to be upset by that with him, because what do you mean? What do you mean you confused? She should have cussed him out harder. But anyway, Sophie is done. Like, her and Karen is done. Or always had been done. That little conversation is over because Sophie is all on Javin. All up and down with him. But before we get into Javin and Sophie and the mess that came from that, let's get into why he is no longer my Shayla. Every time, it's me, y'all. I'm going to stop doing it. I'm going to stop doing it. Every time I go up for a man, he disappoints me. He disappoints me. I could not believe the way this one, no longer my Shayla, was sitting down with Javin talking about Katisha. Is that the kind of girl that you want, mate? Is that who you want? She wanted you, and then she made the decision real quick. How her thinking, mate? Her thinking is off, mate. Who the hell is you? First of all, she's doing a both of y'all a favor. First of all, y'all better thank God this show put y'all in a room with her. So to sit there because you weren't chosen to sit down and drag her with your bum behavior. Because if she would have chose you, you would have never felt that way. And you would have never let him talk about her. But because you're still sore, because you did not get picked, now all of a sudden you're glad that she didn't pick you because she's not a good person. She's so indecisive. She changes her mind. You can dislike how you were treated in the process, right? And you could be like, you know what? You told me one thing and did another. Cool. But to sit there and to talk down to her fiance, to sabotage her wedding and poison his already poisoned mind against her, bum behavior, and you are no longer my Shayla. I'm going to put you back in a pool, in a swamp with the rest of them men. How dare you? And that's the last man I'm defending. I'm done. Because every time I do it, the universe, she lets me know why I should never do it. So I'm not doing that again. I am not doing that again. So anyway, let's get back to Jezebel. Because Javin pulls her for a chat. Now, what the hell do an engaged man who you never talked to, what the hell do he got to tell you? Because that's what I would have said. I would have said, pull me for a chat where? To do what? What we got to talk about? Are we going to talk about it with Katisha? Then I don't need to have the conversation. He pulls her for a chat and she's sitting and she's like flirting with this man. Flirting with this man in front of Katisha. Oh, nasty work. Megan clocked you correctly. She clocked you correctly. She's sitting over there with Javin. She's just like, I can't stop laughing. What we can't just stop laughing at each other. He's engaged. Yikes. Yeah, he's about to marry somebody else in 2 weeks, and you're over there laughing with him. Some of y'all were raised so wrong. So wrong. And it was just rude and very disrespectful because Katisha's like sitting right there and you're not giving her any respect. You are just laughing and giggling and flirting with her fiance in front of her. Nasty work. And when that karma hits you, you're going to remember that moment. So anyway, Javin and Katisha get back, and Katisha just feels really bummed out by how Javin and Sophie disrespect her, but of course her fiance. So she's giving him the cold shoulder. She's not communicating with him like women do, because unlike men, we want to regulate our emotions before we say anything because it could go way left. So instead of asking her how she's feeling, he's like, oh, you're in for the night? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, oh, okay. Walks out the room, hops on the phone. He calls somebody. I think he called Sophie. I think Javin called Sophie and was just like, hey, what you doing tonight? And Sophie told him that everybody was going to be hanging out. So he was like, yeah, I'm going to get up with you. So he runs out and he goes and hangs out with everybody. Of course, he was being extremely inappropriate. him and Sophie had an argument that got so bad they decided to go to take the argument in a photo booth with the curtains closed. Okay. Megan, being the friend that she is, she told her girlfriend everything. I will say she talked to her husband first or fiance first. Listen, thing, I don't think that she needed to do that. I think out of respect she did that because he has a relationship with Javin. And she was like, listen, this is what he did. This is what we saw. I don't feel right not saying anything to her because if the tables was turned, I would want that done for me. And Karen was just like, you know what, that is my friend, but that, Katisha is your friend as well. And I saw the same thing. So I, go right ahead. You got my blessing. Go tell her. So she goes and tells Katisha everything. She says that Javin was flirting with everybody. And then him and Sophie, they started flirting together and they was in the photo booth. And, she said they were in the photo booth for a while and they didn't take a photo. That's right, Megan. And Katisha was just disgusted by everything. And she was just like so flabbergasted. So Megan, gives her friend the tea. What I was not expecting, so proud of her. What I was not expecting for Katisha to get up, pack her stuff, write Javin a Dear John letter, and leave. That's all Katisha needed. And I was so proud of her. She said, "Oh, I don't need no receipts or nothing. I'm out, right?" Before she left, Javin did come home and confronted her and asked her and she asked him about everything. He was just like, "No, she's lying. That never happened." And Katisha was just like, "Oh, okay. I'm not sure what to believe, but it's all right. It's all right." Javin left, honey. I think he went to work. She packed up that house. She got out. She said, "I can't trust him. And so I can't marry somebody I do not trust." Thank you, Jesus. I thought she was going to say yes. I thought they were going to get married. I was ready to be crying in agony for this lady at the end, but she chose herself. That's why you have to have a Megan. And if you are with a man that wants to isolate you from a Megan, get away. But she packed up and leaves. Javin comes home. He reads the letter. He's pissed. He calls Karen and he's just like, "Oh, your girl messed up our relationship. My girl left me because of what y'all did." So he wants to sit down with them, right? But here's the thing. Here's how I know that everything that Megan said was the truth. Because he calls Patrick on camera to corroborate his story. And he's like, so basically, how I know he's lying is that he gives Patrick the setup before Patrick can respond. So before Patrick can even say anything, he's like, "Hey, Meg, can you believe it? Megan went to," he just started telling him everything. So Patrick could be like, and so Patrick could give him the answer he wants, right? So he says, "Can you believe it? Megan told Katisha that I was doing all this stuff, was up with the girls and that I was hanging out with her and her. And I did all of this for Sophie. And because of that, Katisha left me because of everything that Megan said. And she said that I was doing all this stuff for Sophie, although I was there with you the whole time. Can you believe that? Like, you were there with me the whole time. That didn't happen, right, Mike? That didn't happen." And Patrick's like, "No, Mike, it didn't happen." Patrick, of all people, is your witness. Patrick, the fact that you didn't call Kyle lets me know that Megan was telling the truth, because you knew if you would have called Kyle, Kyle would have been like, "Mate, you mounted her." I can't believe Katisha stayed with you that long. So anyway, Javin sits down with Megan and Karen because he wants to confront them because he thinks that they messed up their relationship, not knowing that it was him. He was the one that messed up his relationship. And so he wasn't able to fulfill the Love is Blind process because of his mistakes. So he is trying to lie and gaslight. And Megan is just like, "I saw you. You did all of that. You were in that photo booth with Sophie." He was like, "Oh, me and Sophie we had an argument." Does argument mean the same thing in the UK that it does in America? Because I'm like, if you're having an argument with her, To us, it's a disagreement. So if you're having an argument with this lady, why you got to go in the photo booth and close the curtains to have an argument with her? Or does argument in the UK mean dry humping? Because that's what they was doing in there. That's what they were doing in there. So anyway, he's lying and trying to gaslight them. Megan gets frustrated. Karen is just like, I got it, baby. He's just like, listen, Javin, everything she's saying is the truth, because I saw it as well. Like, I saw it as well. Megan gets frustrated. She's going back and forth with Jagan. She gets frustrated. She leaves. Javin, it's just like, she lied, and so I can't finish this conversation anymore. Didn't mean to make her cry, but what she said is not true. Nobody believes him. He's done. And now it's time for the weddings. Thank the Lord. Katisha is free. I will say the wedding dresses. Interesting. Interesting. Before we get into the weddings, Barta. So Barta at their bachelorette party, at their joint bachelorette party, she tells her friends, she's just like, oh, we just had our first fight, me and Jed. I think she's lying. I think she was lying to protect him. She said we had our first fight, and our fight was about me paying the bill. She said before they even got to the restaurant, Jed told her, I'm paying for this. And I think the reason why he told her that he was paying for something is because she normally pays for everything, or she tries to pay for everything. So he said, don't pull out your card. I am paying for everything. She says when the bill comes out, she inadvertently pulls out her card because it's just normal for her, right? He gets mad at her for doing that and says that she disrespected him. And that gave her pause. And it should have gave her pause. Because why get mad at her? And all you have to say is, babe, remember, I told you I was going to pay for this. I got you. So she could be like, oh, sorry. Like, instead of thinking that she just made a slip up, he immediately goes to, she's emasculating me. And he's telling his boys, he's just like, I keep on telling her, this is what I'm going to do because this is how I want our household to be. And I'm just like, well, dude, you don't have a woman like that. So there's going to have to be some compromise, and there's going to have to be some grace. And so she felt completely beat up because she's just like, he's not giving me grace with anything. Like anything that she does that he doesn't like, he chastises her. Why is he chastising her? He's chastising and disciplining her because he needs her to bend, bold, and break into the mold that he wants her to fit. That's what it is. So he's checking her at everything that she does so that she does not repeat that behavior. I think that they had more than one argument. I think it was multiple arguments. I think it was multiple arguments, and I think the arguments were about Jed asserting dominance over her and her feeling completely uncomfortable about that. So since we're here, let's get into their wedding. They both had really cute vows. They really had really cute but sweet vows. You could tell that Barta was completely nervous, and now we knew why. Barta was nervous because she said no at the altar. She was just like, we can get there, but we are not there right now. The funniest thing about this, because it wasn't funny. She was sad. Jed was embarrassed. But the funniest thing about this was her guest. When she said no, the guests were like, oh! Like, everybody was so dramatic. There was a black guy there. Y'all know who I'm talking about. When she said no, he was like, oh! He was so dramatic. He had to be an extra because he was so dramatic. But the guests, like, they were gasping. Olivia was crying. She ran after her friend. Barta was breaking down because she felt so bad. Jed walked out. He was disappointed. Her mother was falling apart. Her mother was so distraught that Jed's parents had to comfort her mom. And I'm like, what happened? I want to know what she told her mom, or what was her mom thinking in that moment, because the mom was messed up. She didn't even go get her child. I was just like, you really wanted her to marry him? Did she not tell you the truth of what was going on in that relationship? Anyway, I will say, Jed's father, I love the words that he spoke to Barta, because Barta was like, she was like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that to you. I feel so bad. Like, I didn't want to hurt him. And Jed's dad was like, don't apologize to me. Don't apologize to anybody. You know, you don't owe anybody an answer. This is your life. You had to do what's best for you. And I'm like, they must know that, son. It's not good. He said, you had to do what was best for you. Don't apologize to me. I'm okay. You need to be okay. And I just love the Jed's dad is a good dude. He is a good dude. Well, why did wife say that marriage was hard, father? Why she say that? She talking about you. How you make that marriage hard on her? But her mother was messed up. And she basically just said that the reason why she said no was because they just have issues. He is just very, very dominant, and that's not what she wants. Barta wants a partner. She doesn't want a warden. She doesn't want an overseer. She wants a partner. Jed does not want that. Jed does not want that. But she's free. Thank the Lord. Next up is Megan and Karen. Listen, they both have really sweet vows. They both talked about their future and their vows. They both talked about, oh, you know what? Let me bring up Karen, because I always bring up Megan. But they both talked about their life and what they both wanted. Stunning couple. Like, these two are really conventionally attractive globally. I think they would eat in any culture, right? But they are two very attractive people. Of course, they both say, I do. The wedding is really, really pretty. They seem to be very happy. My only concern is that from what I have seen, we've only seen them laugh. I hope y'all did more than laugh and bang. I hope y'all had like real important conversations. And I hope, Megan, that you talk to that man about that dangly earring, because baby, in the trailer, he has a cross dangly chandelier. He got a cross chandelier earring in one ear. I said, what in the hell? Why would you wear that? Does he know that that's a Black American male hoe symbol? That's like a mark of the beast, if you will. If that isn't, was it in the right ear? If that earring is in the right ear of a Black man, he is letting you know that he is a whore and he is going to ruin your life. Why you got that earring? Ciao, Megan. But congrats. Now let's move over to my favorite couple. This is my favorite wedding in Love is Blind history. My favorite wedding. It was so beautiful. I love the way that it was staged. I love all of the colors. Of course, the colors was there because it's the Rover. I think because of Kyle too, right? Ain't his culture colorful? The Black and brown people love color. So I just loved it. It was the best wedding that I have seen in Love is Blind history. So beautiful. I loved both of their vows to each other. When Kyle said that before he got on the show, he made a list of everything that he wanted in a wife and in a life partner, and he said she was it. He said, you are everything that I asked for. I love them. The way she was beaming, her mom was beaming when he said yes. It was just really, 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 really beautiful. And I kind of knew that we would be here when he came out dressed in his cultural regalia, because he wanted to be her prince. He said, I have to be a prince for the princess. I love it. I hope these two are okay. I really, really, really do like this couple. I love that they said I do. I love that everybody was just so happy for them. His mom was holding her breath. And when he said yes, she said, whew. She was so nervous. I wonder why. That gave me pause. And then when Sarova changed into her Indian bridal gown, it was just beautiful. I loved it. I loved it. I will say, Kyle, I'm a little nervous. Here's why. Kyle and Sarova had a moment in their home where he said to her that he was actually really surprised that they made it this far. And she was like, why is that, honey? And he's like, because I've never been able to get close with a woman without being uncomfortable. What? That threw me off. And his brother reiterated that when they met up. That threw me off. You've never been able to get close to a woman without becoming uncomfortable. Now, Kyle, how you doing? Because that sounds real. Huh? It threw me off. It threw me off. But you know what? Congratulations. He is the prince, found his princess. The glass slipper fit. I am happy for these two. Let's end with Ashley and Billy. I absolutely hated this wedding. Hated this wedding. I hated it. Hated it. Hated it. Hated it. I hated it for two reasons. Why? First reason, this entire season, she has been begging this man to pick her. Pick me, choose me, love me. Yikes. It should never be like that. It's never going to work if you love him more. I'm sorry. I feel so bad for her, but she was like begging this man to choose her, and she's crying every time he lets her know that he's not sure, and she's just like, I know that that's what I want, and I don't know why he doesn't want it. And like he was when his dad brought up that Billy's dad brought up that if there was Billy said if there was a flight attendant on the show that he was going to leave the show and he wouldn't stay, and then he fell for a flight attendant, and she's like, it's not going to be a problem, I'll leave my job, I'll do everything I have to do. And I'm like, this is bad, Ashley. This is bad. She says these beautiful vows to him, right? He says his vows. The priest asks if she wants to marry him. She says, yes, I do. Then they get to him. He takes this long pause, of course, for dramatic effect. He says yes. Gagged me. I ain't even gonna lie. Gagged me. He says yes. She goes, I'm so nervous. What? What do you mean? Why not? That should never be your reaction at the altar. But this is the thing. Not only did she do that, all the guests did that. A sigh of relief left their bodies because they thought that he was going to say no. That's a terrible sign. That's a terrible sign. And I feel bad for her because she has bulldozed through every red flag. That man has told her in a billion different ways that he did not want to marry her. But look at this, guys. It is very clear that Billy did not want to marry Ashley. But what did Billy do? He married Ashley. They're not smart. Everybody knew that he did not want to be here, even the bride. And he still did it. This is what I was telling y'all about Kenny and Janae. Everybody's just like, oh no, he wouldn't marry her because he wouldn't have married Janae because he didn't want a black wife. He wouldn't have gave her a baby because he didn't want a black baby. If it was left up to Kenny, he would have kept her pregnant every year. The only reason why Janae ain't got pregnant is because she probably had an IUD. Thank the Lord. Thank the Lord she was taking her pills every day and didn't miss a step. Good for her. But see, this man don't want her. This man don't want to be married. But he still did it. He still did it. This is how these men will build a life with you, have children with you, and leave you. And you will be like, oh my God, he told me that he wanted boys. He said he wanted twin boys. I gave him twin boys. Like, what is going on? Why? Why could he leave me if he said this is what he wanted? Because they lie. And they will live this lie out till what they actually want comes around. Billy did it because she appeared at a time where he felt like he should have a wife. Not because he wanted one, not because he needed one, but because he said, oh, this is time. I don't want it. I don't need it. But I should get it. Oh, Ashley. I hated everything about this. I hated that her family, who knew she was making a terrible decision, sat there and smiled and shed a tear. Y'all knew that this lady was walking in front of a moving train. If she likes it, I hate it. That's all my thoughts. What do you guys have to say? Let's get into it. How much time do we have? I got about 15 minutes into my next live. I'm going to change. Shout out if you're going to be watching Love Island. I'm going to change my Love Island live to 4:30 just to give us more time to talk. So give me a little second. Give me a little second, child. I'm going to change it to 4:30. So, because we got a lot of comments and I want everybody to be able to speak their voice, share their love. Let's hear it. I got to work on that. I'm getting better though. Here's the thing. I used to eat up my pure British accent back in the day because I had to take a dialect course in school. And I did PR. I took PR British. Well, you had to take. Like acting schools really wanted you to like. For everybody had to take PR British, and Cockney. I ate Cockney up. The only accent that I was terrible in was my Irish accent because it always sounded Jamaican. But that Cockney, oh, I ate that Cockney up. I ate Cockney up. Let's move on. And I stopped working on it. Same thing with Spanish. I was so fluent in Spanish. I don't know nothing. You can't stop, y'all. You cannot stop. K Pratt, thank you. Oh my God, my clicker. Give me a second. This damn clicker, I'm gonna start taping it to the wall. I can't live like this. It be everywhere but where it should be. Dos miraditos despiertan así, cansan, move, pasa por ahí. Ah! Lunes, martes. Mercules, jueves, viernes, sábado, domingo. Mi día favorito es el de noche. Ah! I told y'all. I used to be bilingual. E pluribus unum. I used to know Latin too. I gotta get back out there in them bilingual streets. I was a menace. Anyway, thank you, K Pratt, for the super chat. K Pratt said, Nikki, can you say more about baby boys of a woman-dominated family, especially if they have feminist sisters? Trying to see why some guys are the way they are. Here's why. Because, unfortunately, women are more patriarchal than men, unfortunately. And they reinforce the patriarchy in young boys and girls because the women are the influence. They are the influence of that entire home, of that entire culture of people. And because women believe that they are beneath men, they reinforce that idea of how they feel about themselves onto the youth, because they are the ones that spend the most time with the children, because of how society is set up in a westernized patriarchal society. So that is why it burns my biscuits when you hear white feminist women. I don't know why I did that. When you hear white feminists say, "Oh, I want give me the confidence of a mediocre white man," or "Oh my god," like I hate when they try to drag white men, because I'm just like, you raised them. Like I don't think that women get it. Those men are like that because of you. They not spending no time with that man. You are the one who is raising him to be that way. And the reason why those children are like that, especially those young boys, is because of the patriarchy that resides within you. And the reason why it resides in you is because it's unchecked. Like I said in my last live, you have to constantly, as a woman, you have to daily decenter men daily, because not because you are born that way, it's because you are programmed by the women in your community to be a misogynist. That is the issue. And it could be women like, "Oh my god, not me, not me." Okay, where that kid get that from? You are the one that spends the most time with that kid. And you could be like, "Oh, well, the father is like this, or the men are like this." Exactly. And you continue to stay in relationships with those men. That kid never sees you check that man. That kid never sees you check that horrible misogynistic behavior from that man. All they do is see you stay. All they do is see you continue to take the brunt of his abuse, the brunt of his disrespect. And that is why this whole, "Oh, not in front of the children." If you're fighting in front of them kids, let them see the resolution as well. And if you say, "Oh, we're not going to fight in front of kids," or if something happened and the kids see some disrespect, let that kid see you fix that disrespect. Let that kid see their father sit them down in front of their mother and say, "I should have never talked to your mom like that. What I did to her was disrespectful." Let the mom say, "I should have never told you those mean things about your dad, because that's how I felt about him. That was not a conversation I should have had with you." Y'all don't correct the behavior. And although you don't think you're doing it, the kid is seeing you doing that, because you're protecting that kid from the worst of what that man actually is. You got to stop protecting that man, because that is misogyny in itself, because you're protecting his image and how he looks. Therefore, and you are making yourself the bad guy. And you are saying, "I'd rather my kids see me as the bad guy than for them to be heartbroken by how awful this man truly is." Sister, that is misogyny, because you are making yourself, the woman, the problem in that relationship. So when that guy grows up and he don't want no woman like his mama, they think, "Oh, he's colorist. Oh, he don't want nothing black." Look at what he saw. Look at what he saw. So that's why a lot of young guys like that who are in like not women dominant families, but or who are in families where there are more women than men, that's how they become that way, because women are protectors as well, right? And they are also protectors of the children. And so they're protecting them. They don't want you to see this. They don't want you. They're protecting this guy from everything. So he has no problems. He has no issues, and he has no consequences. So he doesn't know how to operate in the world like a human being, because women are always there to wipe his behind. And they can have these feminist ideas, right? But they will do whatever they can to protect the baby boy. They would do, or the man in general, they would do whatever they can to look out for him. Because that is just who women are, right? We're protectors, we're nurturers. So this kid, this baby boy, although it's all women in the family, all beautiful Black women, all beautiful, amazing women, although he's grown up with them, he still has a disdain, right? And he still only sees women like him, women who look like the women in his family. He will only see them as doormats and as maids, because that is what those women showed him who women who look like him are. They don't discipline him, they don't check him, they just protect him. And they're normally protecting him from the awful men in their community that he's not only seeing them protect, but he's also seeing them still stay in community with them. Like when the mother who was abused and tormented by their father says, oh, I'm just going to be cordial with him for their graduation. Absolutely not. Don't let that demon in your presence so that your kid can have pictures with both of their parents. Absolutely not. You gotta be cordial with, you don't even gotta speak to him. But you're sacrificing yourself so that your kid, because you're thinking, I'm going to do this so that they can have a good time. I'm not gonna, I'm going to sacrifice myself and how I feel. I'm going to re-traumatize myself by being in the presence of my abuser so that my kid could have good graduation pictures. And that's what that kid is seeing. That kid is seeing you put yourself last. So why would they see a woman, especially a woman who looks like you, why would they see her as anything different than a doormat, than a caretaker? And so that's why we have to constantly decenter men, constantly decenter it. So that's why those guys turn out the way they are. And women who are misogynists, even though you don't think it's you got to do the work. It's you, right? That's why you can't see it. You cannot see it. But let a girl that one of the men in your family are dating, let her tell you about how he truly is. Who do you believe immediately? Even though you see him, who do you believe? Even though you've seen him with her, even though you see their interactions, who do you immediately make an excuse for? You don't check him. You don't tell him to be a better person. You give her advice on how to deal with how awful he is. Didn't we see that in this show? Didn't we see all the mothers and the sisters tell the women about how terrible the guys are and how she has to deal with that? Make sure you do this because he's like this. Nobody is saying he is like this. That is an issue. If I were you, I wouldn't be in a relationship with the man that treats me this way. You're not going to say that. Why? Because that's your brother. You're going to protect your baby boy. You're going to protect the baby of the family. He's a terrible human being because of you. I hate to say it. I hate to say it. That's why I have a little brother. Y'all don't know about him because, dad's side. But anyway, I still love him. He knows I'm not the sister to come to with mess. I'm just not that one. Like I'm going to be honest. I'm going to give the correct advice. I'm not the one that you can call for, the dumb stuff. Because I'm going to be like, what did you do? She reacted like that because of what you did. She wouldn't have said that if you didn't say that. So he knows. He knows. Don't protect him. because that guy is going to be awful, and it's going to be a representation of you. It's going to be a representation of you. Don't protect him. Thank you so much, K. Pratt. Kimberly, thank you for the super chat. Kimberly said he ain't his daddy. That ain't his daddy, child. That is not his daddy. I need for them to do a DNA test. I need for them to do a DNA test. Hey, Shamiko. Shamiko said, good afternoon. Happy Friday, Nikki and chat. I hope everyone had an amazing day. Nikki, it's been a while, but I have been here watching and loving the vids. Love from St. Kitts. Thank you so much, Shamiko. Thank you so much. Kirsten said, I only care about Karen and Megan. They're cute. They just laugh too much. I hope they did. We haven't seen it because you know how editing is, but I hope they had the right conversations. Hannah said, Barta should be with the man who helps her, not control her. Absolutely. Here's the thing. I don't think that Barta wouldn't want the princess treatment, right? But she wants accurate and honest princess treatment, not like the princess treatment where it's financial abuse. She wants to, oh, you're doing this because you care about me and you love me so much, you want to make my life easier, not because you want to control me. It was very apparent that Jed was doing the things that he was doing to control her. Hey, Bria. Bria said, Barta confuses me because she knew about this culture tradition from jump. So if she didn't want that type of man, then why go through this? Well, because unfortunately, women think that they can change a man. It happens all the time. All the time. You think, oh, it's me. I can make him different than what he really, really is. And some women love a project. She found out real quickly she could not change him. And I think when she sat down with his parents, she saw herself and his mother and was like, absolutely not. Pink Petal said, I'm kind of confused by Barta, though. She's so independent. Why does she want to get married? You can be an independent woman and get married. It's very easy to do that. Just have somebody who loves and respects you and sees you as a partner, not as a human being that he wants to enslave. There are so many independent women who have husbands and life partners. It can be done. It's just the majority of them live in New York City. For some reason, that type of dynamic, that type of relationship works so well in New York City. I don't know why, but it does. I don't know why. Double T said, hey, y'all, Kyle stood on all 10s for Demola. Yes, he was not playing. Love Like You Are said, I also don't like that Demola was Ciao. Never go up for a man. Deanna, so true, said the smartest thing Katisha has probably done ever was walking away from Javin. Hopefully she learned the lesson and will do better going forward. I was so proud of her. She spoke to Megan. She said, thank you, friend. I appreciate it. She spoke to him and she said, I got what I needed to get, packed her things up and got out of there. Good for her. Good for her. Absolutely. But see, this is the thing. Remember I was telling you about the preference in the test? That was the test. Sophie doesn't realize that. Javin was testing her. From the moment he said, can I pull you for a chat? And she inclined. Then she sat there and she flirted with him. Then she hung out with him later. He knew he had her. He knew he had her. Because what a grimy thing to do to another woman. A grimy thing to do just in general. But he knew he had her. And he knew that she did not have a strong woman community because of how easily she was down to not only disrespect another woman, to disrespect and embarrass herself. He knew he had her. Child, I loved it. I love that she protected her friend like that. Somebody told that man that he was fine, and he ran with it. He ran with it. Hannah said, Ashley and the other ladies kept telling her to think deeply about why she chose Javin. The men talked to the ladies and absolutely. Absolutely. The N and the H said when they had their one-on-one date, it was awkward and they spent it talking about Demola. Yep. Sure did. Because Javin was jealous. Then to not only be jealous of Damola, sit down with Damola and drag Katisha, nasty work. Zora said all the qualities patriarchy gives to women, gossip, bad friends, emotional, actually belongs to men. Absolutely. Absolutely. When a man that's in leadership gets emotional, we go to war and everybody dies but him. Love like you are said, and you know Kyle was the first one to flap his he sure was. He sure was. Mimi said, men are the worst gossips. The hottest tea I've gotten has always been from men. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Zora said, I like Barta. I think she has realistic views of marriage in areas she needs to work on. Yep. Of course. Oh, they do? It wasn't even about being white. It was about the time. People still smoke crack. Oh my God. I thought it was a 90s thing. People are smoking crack in 2025. My God, today. My God, today. Shoni said, it amazes me every season that there are so many important conversations that people don't have before they leave the pods. What do they talk about? Sex. That's the problem. Everybody is so freaked out. E. for Empathy said, Karen said he felt a deep emotional connection, so maybe they cut those scenes for whatever reason. Oh, yeah, of course. Of course. Dahlia said, Meyer. More. I'm like, Maya, is that a new word? More importantly, how do the elders feel about the weird uncle? Half of my family likes to sweep stuff under the rug. Absolutely not. Yep. Like you have to ask about those toxic family members and how those toxic, because everybody has them, right? How are those toxic family members dealt with? Very important. Kirsten said, Kieran's got coins in a house in London. He'll take care of it. Yeah, that's great. I just hope they had that discussion. He loved that bang. He loves that bang and some slim fitted jeans and some skinny jeans. Yes, he definitely looks like Jim Carrey with a tan. Oh, it's the forehead shape. That makes sense. That makes sense. The N and the H said, I thought it was so weird that people left for a month and didn't say anything to their families. I'm like, how could y'all do that? Miss Melanie, ciao. It's not happening. Dahlia said, I'm getting a blood test for any black or white man whose family's been in Texas for longer than 3 generations. Yep. My people were rolling. So absolutely. Absolutely. Like dating in Philly is just like, who your people? That's where you got to start. Or for not even who your people, we say, where in Philly are you from? If a man say he from North Philly, I'm out. Nope. I'm out. We cannot date. Jen said, I can never. My family will be searching for me. And let me tell you something. Let me not pick up my phone. Let my mom call me and it rings 3 times and I don't pick up my phone. The FBI, a SWAT team, will be kicking my bedroom window open. Like, how are y'all able to do that? Makeup Addict said, I don't believe that they don't tell their parents because when the camera crews show up and they are all mic'd up, what do they think they're coming for? Yes, I never believed that part of the show. Maybe they just have to act like that because they're contractually obligated not to reveal what show they're on, but it's just very, very weird to me. At all. NC said, Billy is a huge red flag, uncompromising and controlling. I can't believe Ashley said, yes, I would have ran for the hills the moment he tried to dictate my diet and what groceries I can and cannot buy. Absolutely. Here's the thing. Ashley just wanted to be married. I told you, these shows, the best thing they could do is get a woman in her late 20s or early 30s. That's when we're in the marriage psychosis phase. That is the time where we are believing that we're aging out of desirability and that we need to now become a wife and a mom to form another desirable identity to men. So when that is at that age, it's the best time to get a woman because you could damn near manipulate her to do anything, to say yes to anything. Here's how we got Ashley. She should have never said yes to that man. Never said yes to that man. Zora said, I want Ashley to work on that need to prove herself. At least are very open to being manipulated. Instead of focusing on if this relationship makes sense, you're worrying about if you're good enough. Yep. And that's how to get them. Make them feel like they're not good enough so you can start doing things or competing with other women to make yourself feel like you have some sort of self-worth. You had it before him and now you're competing to get it. Isn't that weird? Eva Ripley says Sorova's mom was so glam. The mother of the bride fit fabulous. Beautiful. The whole family is stunning. Yes, absolutely. Very, very much so. Very, very much so. Makeup Patty says Sorova's mother is a traditional Indian woman. Yes, you should be nervous, LOL, especially as she wasn't marrying an Indian. Oh, yeah, she was marrying somebody who her people are beefing with. So I understand that. Well, producers, I believe. I think it was producers who just wanted to make like a big deal about that. Dahlia said Sorova's best look was her bridal look, especially with the golden Indian gown. Skin was glowing, teeth were white, and brows were on point. Yeah, I agree with that. Zora said, just because a man treats you well doesn't mean he's entitled to you. I'm happy Katisha went on chemistry, but hate that she chose Javin. Wish she went home single, formed the pods. Absolutely. Denise said, and Katisha should go to therapy. When the toxic narc and abuser feels like chemistry and connection, tell it it's time for therapy. Absolutely, because you are confusing lust with like or love. Very, very sad. Kimberly said, I had a therapist tell me when a man gets married, his quality of life increases. Yep. And the quality of life for the woman decreases. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, not at all. Not at all. He showed himself when he sat down with Javin. He showed himself. Yeah, I think it's a quadroon family. It's a quadroon family. It's a quadroon family. Oh, her mom is mixed. Okay. Yeah, they're swirly. They're swirly. I think for any woman, the baby boy, now listen, if you do it, and if he's a baby boy and he is in a family that has more women than men, sit down with every woman first in that family before you move forward with that guy. K-Press said, I got that one. Thank you so much for that question. Kirsten said, Javin's dad was a bandit, clearly. No role model on how to be a man. Resent their matriarchal families. Red flag, run, ladies, because you always resent the one that stays. Because the one that stays is normally the woman, and the woman always protects the man. The kid sees all of your flaws. They never see his flaws. One, because he's not there, and two, because you are still protecting him. Yep. Jen said no cooking, light cleaning, if anything, and then coddle more than the girls. They're being light male with girls for there being a light male presence. Absolutely. I remember in college, one of my guy friends, did not know how to do his laundry. And I'm telling you, shout out to our mom, because I refused to help him. I said, no, you need to figure it out. Who the hell am I? I'm 18. I'm like, no, you need to figure it out, because we were washing our laundry together. Like we went down to the laundry room, and he just could not figure it out. 18-year-old boy, by the way. He's old enough to die in war, but he don't know how to wash his clothes. He was like, can you do it for me? And I was like, no, figure it out. like I did. Figure it out. He messed up his clothes so much. Like he ended up bleaching all his clothes. All of his clothes were pink. All of his clothes were pink. And it got so bad that his mom had to come up to the school to wash his clothes for him. And she lived in another state. And she continued to do that for the rest of his time in college. Ma'am, man, and that is somebody's husband today. She didn't think that was crazy. She didn't think that was crazy. That is how you continue to support the patriarchy, because she would not have done that for her daughter. Ah, ah, ciao, ciao. Megan said the way I would have left that man at the grocery store and then given him the bill after I brought all my sweets. Absolutely. Absolutely. Dahlia said lots of gym guys have ED. It's just that ballerinas get to be the poster girl. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. There's a young guy on TikTok right now. He's doing so many steroids. His heart is enlarged. Like when he's just standing, he's like because he's taking so many steroids, destroying his body. And they're calling him a fitness bro. No, he has an eating disorder and body dysmorphia. That boy need help. Miss GG88 said Billy trains people in the military, and I think he said he has to be an example. I don't get eating disorder. He's very strict about his diet. I couldn't do it. I need my cake and ice cream. Yeah, I don't want to put eating disorder on him either. But he trains people in the military. Something about that is red pill. Something about that is red pill. Because I'm thinking about something totally different, like how the men go to those like alpha male camps to be trained by military professionals on how to be a man. That's what that's given. Ooh, I hope that's not it. Hannah says the worst husbands are the ones too strict and critical of the food they eat, because he's going to do it to you, child. And Ashley has been bone thin her entire life. Kids are coming. How strict is he going to be when you have a craving? How strict is he going to be when your body don't bounce back after them kids? Woo! Woo! Zora said that's why Billy's dad looks so young. He lives life. Billy is the most uptight in his family. He surely is. Dahlia said, I like how Ashley handled the conversation, though. She didn't let stuff simmer like some people. Cough, cough, Barta. Here's the thing. How I felt about that conversation was that production made her have it. I think production saw that something was going on and made her have the conversation. I don't think that that's the conversation that she would have had on camera if she was not influenced to do so. Holly said, I eat certain food that my husband doesn't eat and vice versa, but that's a very easy solve if you have enough cabinets in the pantry. Shorter food allergies. That shouldn't even be a conversation. It isn't. It's not a big deal. She was just, Ashley was just like, I'm concerned that I can't have my chocolates. And that's a very important concern. Dahlia said, I'm convinced Javin is a producer plan who wasn't expected to get picked, but Katisha effed it up. Production scrambled to ruin that relationship. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. Just beyond disrespectful. Beyond disrespectful. Zora said, I knew it was being so messy. I loved it. She has such good chemistry with the ladies and the men. I loved it. When she walked in the room, it was like, hello. I love her. She is such good TV. You're a liar. You're a liar. And they were like, why did you do that? She said, well, he wanted me to sing for him, so I did. Oh, she's stunning. I hated the fact that we couldn't see more thickness. I hated that. All the men were. It was weird. It was weird. I didn't like it. I'm like, you're right in front of your fiancés. It's disrespectful. Disrespectful. Miss Gigi88 said, I like Karen, that Karen told Meg he was going to talk to Sophie so things didn't seem messy. I've never seen that happen before. Yes, he's very respectful of her. You want them on the next season? Oh, Love Island. Are they too? I think they might be too old for Love Island. Like Love is Blind likes to pick people in their late 20s and 30s. Love Island likes to get people before their brain is fully developed so that they don't know that they are participating in sexual coercion. Of course he didn't. Of course he didn't. He didn't want her. He didn't want her. And that's exactly what Damola is, a pick-me man. And the patriarchy that I have to kill in myself every day made me sympathize with that man. Ugh. The internet said, has she talked about Megan and her fiance at all yet? Oh, you're talking about me? Yeah, I did. Zora said the comment she made about her not sitting because her gagged me. She's such good TV. She is. She is. Y'all not mean enough for me. Y'all not mean enough. Oh my goodness. Yes. Thank you for bringing that up. The way he said he couldn't have dinner with his wife, but he could be out to 2 a.m. with Sophie. He told her we won't be able to see each other because I'm in bed by 10. But you up all night with Sophie. Ugh. An argument. What were you? He has yet to say what they were arguing about. Him and Sophie. What a terrible lie. What a terrible lie. Miss G88 said Katisha already knew it wasn't working when Megan told her what happened. That was a confirmation she needed. Dahlia said Katisha's intuition told her Javin was trash but needed outside influence to move. One day she'll learn to trust her spleen. I honestly think it was Katisha's mother. I think Katisha already had some doubts, but she was still going to do it. I think when Javin sat down with her mom said it ain't him. Her mom said it ain't him. Because the way she kept on asking Javin, with the way she kept on asking him and telling him to take care of her, to be good to her, I was like, for you to just meet him and that is what you are telling him to do, you already know. You already know who she is. And I think with her mom having apprehension and then her seeing the things that she's seen and then Megan telling her this, who she trusts, that was enough for her. That was enough for her. Patrick, of all people. I said, oh, you're guilty. Oh, you're guilty. Guilty. Thank you. Zora said, what type of woman goes to a confined space to have an argument with a man she doesn't know well? An engaged man. An engaged man can't say nothing to me without his fiance there. I would have been like, pull me for a chat to go where? Over here? Okay, Katisha. Your fiance want to talk to me. Come here. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I was raised right. Miss Gigi said Javin gave player from the Himalayas into the pods. Absolutely. He's still living like he a footballer. That's his problem. Go outside. Or don't even argue with this. Why are you arguing with this woman you just met? He just met Sophie. He just met Sophie. Dahlia said, I needed Karen to tell Javin to take the bass out of his voice while that was my only little problem with Karen. I was like, he getting a little too loud for me. Love Like You Are said the way Barta started out sounded like it was going to be a yes. And when she said no, I stood up laughing. I knew she wasn't going to do it. She was so nervous. She was so nervous. They were so dramatic. That black guy took me out. He was I said, oh, he lives for the drama. Let me get a few more because I got to get out of here. Love Like You Are said, Billy is not getting any younger. So, of course, yeah. Until who he really wants comes along. Zora said, men will take a companionship with someone they hate just to have someone. Absolutely. But they'll only be with you as long as you're healthy and desirable to them physically. Anything else, he's out. Megan said, notice he never said he loved her at the end of his vows to her. He thanked her. Woo, child. Makeup said Ashley must have low self-esteem or something. It made me cringe. She's probably just very male-centered. And can see no wrong in men. Miss GG88 said Kyle's brother said he would lose interest in 6 months. He probably has a short attention span like me, but I am with my husband 17 years and never bored. Oh, that's beautiful. Amen. Dahlia said Kyle was only dating blondes. Maybe he meant on a cultural level he had to tolerate. Okay, because I was like, you uncomfortable being around with. That could make sense. That's a different perspective. Love Like You Are said, and the way Kyle is so active on Twitter under the Love is Blind UK post, he better hope they still together because everybody's going to gather them up. Oh Lord. That was cute. And even when she was just like, when they were at their different bachelorette and bachelor parties, she was just like, he's probably somewhere shimmying those hips. And then they cut to him at the bachelor party. But what I loved about that was that he wasn't a dancer kind of guy, but she made him comfortable in that. And they're cute. I like them. I just hope that they had the important conversations. I really, really do. She was. And here's the thing, I'm not mad at it either because I'm a theater kid and I these are the people I grew up around. Like that wedding, that is a theater kid wedding. That is a wedding of somebody who's a dancer. They do stuff like that. Spency said, my cousin has turned most of my family against the mother of his kids. Only my mom and I have clocked him, and that's why he doesn't talk to us. I love my family. They watch and support me. Thank you so much. My family is more, there's more women in my family than there is men. My father, who has yet to be good to my mother, is invited to everything that my family has going on. And we have expressed that we don't want him at certain things. And you know what certain family members will say? Certain women in the family will say, oh, he's family. No, he's not. No, he's not. Women. Gotta kill that patriarchy. Dahlia said men, especially black men, have been quite vocal. They associate all women with their mom. If he doesn't love or respect her, he will not respect and love any woman without deep work. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Meet with the women in his family first before you get any deeper with that man. Zora said, we got to have this convo, re-misogynoir and the protection of whiteness in the Love Island live, because the pedestalizing of Nick and simultaneous degradation of Shelly has been heartbreaking. Absolutely. I agree. Please bring that up, Zora, if I don't. Rain said men are only good when they're in the middle of two sisters. I agree. Dahlia said every action is a subtle reinforcement of bad male behavior. Nothing gets done without women co-signing. Civil rights wouldn't exist without us. Of course. Clock it. Still mad at that boy. Just Jonda said Javin behaved like every failed athlete I have ever seen. Yep. Whether it's the high school player who never made it to college or the college ones who didn't make it to pros, bitter with an inflated egos. Absolutely. Nisha said Barta disclosed Jed reacted in a way that wasn't something she wanted. And I'm glad. Smart. She's a smart woman. Glad that she got out when she could. Amma said he was fully avoiding having dinner with her and she was actively trying to make time for him. It made me sick to my stomach. Yep. But glad she got out. Glad she just Jonathan said Yolanda walked in the room and it was just like the song by Climax. The men are paused when she walked into the room. Brittany said, now Nikki, don't be acting. He was. You see, like I gave you an example and then I demonstrated it. I have to kill the patriarchy in me every day. I should have known he would have embarrassed me. Oh. Lived in another state, hopped in her car, drove 2.5 hours to wash that boy's clothes every Saturday. And then wanted to wash his roommates, but his roommate was black. And he was like, no, I know how to wash my own clothes. Black moms for the win. Black moms for the win. Oh, I want to watch that. Hopefully I have time. I want to be a little late on my live because I'm watching that video. Wavy Wobbly said on the Still Watching Netflix pod, Barta said the meal she paid for after Jed said he wanted to pay was a meal with his friends because she wanted to impress them. Barta, what? You see? Now I thought, well, Jed is still very much the problem. Why are you trying to impress the friends? Let me tell you something. And maybe this is just because I'm a little long in the tooth. I am not doing anything to impress anybody in his family. I'm not doing nothing to impress his family. I'm not doing nothing to impress his friends. Y'all should already know who the hell I am. Any woman that comes into any man's life is the best thing that ever happened to him. I hate that families make women audition. Are you kidding me? You better be thankful somebody found that man attractive and wants to spend some time with him and get him out of your hair. Get the hell out of here. I'm not impressing your friends for what? But they got to impress me. I'm the prize. I'm the one that y'all want. Y'all need to be auditioning for me. Crazy work. I don't got to impress you. Get out of here. Get out me, the woman. The best thing that has ever happened to men. I have to impress you. Let's be serious here. Your son is no prize. That privilege alone that he has. No. Now, I'm not saying you can't love your baby. I'm not saying. It's your heart. That's your baby boy. I get it. But please, the sacrifice, the work that a woman is going to have to do just due to her gender, you need to be auditioning for her, not the other way around. Anyway, my loves, I gotta go. Why? Because I got literally another live, a Love Island live. Hopefully I'll see you there. If not, I'll see you soon for something else. Love y'all. See you soon. Bye. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. Again, I don't think I want to do another live this early. It's hot out here, y'all. We'll see. Love you.